what we are bringing you this Saturday, May 14th, on Showtime Championship Boxing. I'm Brian Custer, the host of Showtime Championship Boxing. This is the official press conference for Charlo versus Castaño 2, the rematch. Be in the house there at Carson. Dignity Health Sports Park, I tell you, is without question one of our favorite, and I believe the best outdoor venue for boxing. There is something in the air in Carson because it always delivers, it seems, electrifying, all action, fight of the year candidate type of bouts. We had 5 fights at that venue last year, all of them world title fights. This will be our first trip to Carson this year, and this will be a fight, one of the most significant fights of the year, and a historic night. Because if there's one thing that boxing fans love to hear, it is a unification fight. What fighters and champions who are up here, what they crave is to be undisputed. And that's what we have on Showtime Championship Boxing, because the winner on Saturday of the main event will be just the 7th undisputed champion in this current 4-belt system, and the first undisputed champion at 154 pounds in this 4-belt era. Again, it goes down Saturday, May 14th, Showtime Championship Boxing, Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, and is brought to you by Premier Boxing Champions. The telecast will begin at 9 p.m. Eastern, that is 6 o'clock Pacific time here in LA, and it will also feature in the co-main that welterweight star, pound-for-pound talent, Jaren Boots Ennis, as he takes on the unbeaten Canadian Olympian Castillo Clayton. It is an IBF welterweight title eliminator. It's the co-main event. And then we'll kick the night off and the broadcast off with the Mexican contender, Kevin Gonzalez, as he puts his unbeaten record on the line against Puerto Rico's Emmanuel Rivera. It is a 10-round super bantamweight fight. Now, tickets going fast, but you can purchase your tickets through AXS.com. That is AXS.com. And this fight is being promoted by Lions Only Promotions and TGB Promotions as well. Listen, when these two champions got in the ring last July, it was an instant classic. 12 grueling rounds that these guys went at it on Showtime, back and forth, and it ended in a split decision draw. Both of these men feel like they did enough to have their hand raised at the end of the night, and both of them have promised to leave no doubt in the rematch come Saturday. We're going to talk to all of the fighters who will be participating this weekend, but first let me bring here to the podium the man who helped put all of this together. He is Showtime Sports President and General Manager, Mr. Steven Espinoza.
Thank you, Brian. When we announced our schedule back in March, it was clear that the 154-pound division was going to play a big role in our plans. But we had no idea the results would be this spectacular. In a 7-week span, March 26th to May 14th, we've had every single one of the top 6 super welterweights fight on Showtime. Charlo, Castaño, Fundora, Zoo, Harrison, Lubin. The goal? To definitively answer the question, without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, who is the best 154-pound fighter in the world. On March 26th, we saw Tim Tszyu get up off the canvas, fight back to defeat Terrell Gausha, April 9th, in a Fight of the Year contender, Sebastian Fundora also got off the canvas and won against Erickson Lubin. And now the icing on the cake, the cherry on top, the most important, the most meaningful fight in the 154-pound division, Charlo Castaño for the undisputed super welterweight title. Showtime Sports is proud to announce this fight, the second chance at history, live to Showtime subscribers this Saturday. Another unification fight live on Showtime. This is a pay-per-view card, a pay-per-view quality card without the pay-per-view. And this is the start of an exciting stretch for us and for boxing fans. It's the first week of 6 straight weeks of boxing on Showtime. Yet another example of the network's commitment to the sport. Every weekend, May 14th through June 18th, top tier, big time boxing brought to you by Showtime. That's 6 straight weeks of boxing, 7 weeks of combat sports when you add in the Bellator show on June 24th. There's no other network, no other streaming service, no other platform that is doing that for boxing fans. No other platform has this level of quality and quantity for combat sports. March 26th, Fight of the Year quality fight. Zoo Gaucher. Erickson Lubin, Fundora, Fight of the Year quality fight. Spence Ugas, Fight of the Year quality fight. May 14th, Charlo Castaño, Fight of the Year quality fight. There's no one else in the sport consistently giving fans these types of matchups, these kinds of cards, week after week. That's not hyperbole, that's not salesmanship. Those are facts. That's what we do at Showtime. We take tough fights. We have the best fighting the best week after week. If you're not watching this card, if you're not watching the Charlo versus Castaño card, then you can't call yourself a boxing fan. You're not a boxing fan. You cannot say you're a boxing fan if you're not watching this weekend. And it doesn't stop here. Going forward, David Benavidez next week, Gervonta Davis the week after that, Stephen Fulton, Danny Roman, Jermell Charlo versus Sulecki. It's the strongest, most consistent boxing schedule in the sport. But let's get back to Saturday. Last July in San Antonio, 12 grueling rounds between these two men in an attempt to make history. Each was trying to become the first ever undisputed 4-belt, 54-pound champion. But it was the first time in history that a 154-pound unification fight ended in a draw. And if ever a matchup begged for a rematch, this is it. So now's probably a good time to prepare yourself for what will be another thrilling fight. Both Jermell and Brian have had the time to further sharpen their skills, refine their strategies, and I think it's fair to expect that this second fight will be even better than the first one. And this is exactly what Showtime does, matching the best against the best, and there's no doubt these are the two best fighters in this division. And they're here to prove their greatness. This will mark the 15th appearance for Jermell Charlo on Showtime. He's 13-0-1 on our network. We've seen him develop into one of the sport's best and most engaging fighters. We've also had the privilege of watching Brian Castaño emerge as a player at 154 pounds. First in his fight against Erislandy Lara, that ended in a split draw, and then the instant classic against Charlo this past July. And if that fight wasn't enough, we pulled up all the stops in the co-feature. When you talk about the best fighters who have yet to win a world title, the list starts with one name, Jaron Boots Ennis. There's no question about it. 28-0, 26 knockouts. If you haven't seen him before in person, you're in for a treat. He's fought 8 of his last 9 fights on Showtime, and every time he steps up, well, he just makes it look easier. But standing his way on Saturday is probably his toughest challenge to date. Castillo Clayton is a strong fighter, formidable fighter, never been beat. Like Ennis, he's got a deep amateur resume, including representing Canada at the 2012 Olympics in London. And Clayton is ready to make his name as well. This telecast begins at a special time, This is 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Opens with Kevin Gonzalez, Emmanuel Rivera. And this is Showtime's 18th fight at what used to be called StubHub, what's now Dignity Health. And whether you call it the War Grounds or the Punch Bowl, this site has played host to many of the best fights, all action, fan-friendly, spectacular affairs on our network. We've done 2 Fight of the Years from this venue, 2008, the 3rd fight between Israel Vasquez and Rafael Marquez, 2014, Lucas Matisse, John Molina, and again, I think it's fair to expect a Fight of the Year level fight this weekend. I don't think I'm overstating things to say that Saturday's card will undoubtedly add to the rich history of great fights at this venue. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Let's get to the fights. Let's start with the first fight of the night. Kevin Gonzalez, Emmanuel Rivera. Emmanuel's here. Martin Bader will do the translation. Emmanuel, you're facing Gonzalez, a man who's unbeaten. But once again, you have Puerto Rico versus Mexico. What should we expect when you guys step in the ring on Saturday?
Bueno, Emmanuel, vas a enfrentarte a un oponente que está invicto, un nuevo episodio de la guerra entre Puerto Rico y México. ¿Qué le tenés que decir a tu oponente para que sepa que estás listo para esta pelea? I promise you that I'm going to be 100%, I'm going to give you the best of me. And it's going to be another instance where Puerto Rico is going to come out on top. And I promise the fans that I'm going to put on a show for all of you.
Gonzalez is unbeaten. Emmanuel, what do you believe a victory over Gonzalez does for you in your career?
Si le ganas a alguien que está invicto, como González, ¿qué crees que eso le va a dar a tu carrera? ¿Qué beneficio o qué salto de calidad le podría dar a tu carrera el derrotar a Kevin?
Mejor camino para mí, para mi familia, para mis hijos. Vengo 100% y vamos a salir con la victoria.
It's going to open a lot of doors. Most importantly, it's going to provide a better future for me, my family, and my kids. That's what I'm telling you. I'm going to come out 100%, and I'm going to give the best of me to come out with the win.
Again, that's the first fight of the night. Emmanuel Rivera, 19-2, 12 knockouts out of Puerto Rico, taking on Kevin Gonzalez, the Jackal. He's unbeaten 24-0-1. He's got 13 knockouts. Then we get to the co-main. You heard Stephen talk about it. And when you talk about probably the best fighter on the planet who doesn't have a strap around his waist, many people in this sport will say Bootsin is that guy. But he's fighting an unbeaten fighter because he's got Castaño Clayton in front of him. Clayton, unbeaten, 19-0-1, 12 knockouts, 2012 Olympian. He was considered the best Canadian amateur of this generation, is what they called him up north. Taking on Jaren Boots Ennis, 28-0. He's got 26 knockouts out of that fighting city of Philly. By the way, Boots has scored 20 knockdowns in his last 10 fights and has never been past the 6th round. Boots, start with you. Fighting an unbeaten fighter this time around, what would a victory, you think, for a guy like Castaño Clayton say to the welterweight division?
Me being me not the same as the rest. You know, this is another day in office, to make another day, another dollar.
On paper, is this your toughest challenge, or are you his toughest challenge?
On paper, I mean, I don't know. We're not gonna know until fight night, but you know, we'll see.
Castaño Clayton, Listen, you're fighting a guy who a number of people have called the future of the welterweight division. What would a victory Saturday mean to you?
I'm taking a fight that most people wouldn't have took, but for me, I mean, it's the type of fight that I needed in my career right now, and I'm very prepared for this fight.
A number of people and a number of opponents haven't been past the 6th round with Jaren. I think everyone wants to see him tested. Will he get his biggest test come Saturday?
Well, like I said, I mean, I'm coming to fight, so I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we can't really say what's going to happen, but like I said, I'm here to fight, and I'm not going to say what can happen.
The one thing you guys both have in common, you both have fought Sergey Lipinets. Boots, you stopped him. You certainly went the distance with him. A number of people thought that you won that fight, even though it ended in a draw. Is there anything, Boots, that you can gather from that fight? Because both of you guys faced this guy. When you looked at Clayton, you said, what?
Honestly, like I said before, I don't watch tape on guys that I fight unless I watched it from before. So we had a great training camp, and you know, we want to do what we do. So on Saturday night, you want to see me shine and do my thing and make a big statement.
You have an 18-fight knockout streak. Will it be 19 on Saturday?
Most definitely. You know, we're not looking for it. We're gonna let it come. You know, and be smart about it. Definitely number 19 coming.
Gus? He said 19's coming Saturday. What do you say?
I mean, he's going to say 19's coming, but at the same time, I'm here to make sure that don't happen.
That's the co-main. Comes your way on Showtime Championship Boxing. Now let's get to the main event. For the undisputed title at 154 pounds. Let's be honest. The winner makes history. The winner jumps on that pound-for-pound list. And you have the WBO champion, Brian Castaño, unbeaten, 17-0 and 2, 12 knockouts out of Argentina. But he's taking on the unified champion. He's the WBC, the WBA, the IBF world champion. Yeah! He's known as the Iron Man. Jermell, Charlo, 34-1-1, 18 knockouts. Yeah, Mel! Mel, I'll start with you. Both of you men said you felt like you had done enough to have your arm raised in that first fight. If that's the case, what then do you have to do differently this time around?
Just be dominant, straight up, be dominant, to be a Charlo, just be the Jermell Shawn that the best Jermell Shawn y'all have yet to see. I'm gonna come out with this fight. I'm gonna dominate this fight way different than I did the last fight.
Brian, same question to you. Both of you men felt like you had done enough to win that first fight. According to CompuBox, they said you outlanded Charlo in 8 of the 12 rounds. What do you have to do differently than this time around?
Bueno, Brian, aquí Charlo dice que te quiere dominar, que quiere ser el Charlo de antes. Y Caster decía que, según las estadísticas de la primera pelea, vos conectaste más golpes que Charlo en 8 de los 12 rounds de aquella pelea. Pero ¿qué sentís que vos tenés que hacer distinto o que quizás algo que tenés que adaptar a una nueva estrategia para ganar el sábado?
No, creo que eso es algo que se lo voy a mostrar el 14. Ahora la pelea, no voy a decir nada ahora, él sabe, él va a hacer su trabajo, yo voy a hacer el mío. Y nada, como digo siempre, no voy a dejar todo en cada round y en cada pelea que me pongan enfrente. Hoy lo tengo a él y bueno, es el escalón a subir, ¿no? para mi carrera.
I'm not about to unveil my secrets right now. You're gonna have to see on Saturday night. Having said that, I prepare myself very seriously for each and every opponent that I have in front of me. This time, it's gonna be Charlo, and I promise you, I'm gonna be more than ready to give fans a show on Saturday night.
Mel, let me ask you this. When you watched it, so much at stake, the undisputed title on the line, most important thing that you learned from that first fight?
I mean, you know, Brian Castaño is the same fighter that, you know, he performed every fight. He don't show too much difference. He gonna come, he came back up. There's a lot of little things that I learned, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna put that, all of that on play Saturday night. I'm gonna use my intelligence, I'm really smart in the general shit. I'm gonna take advantage of some of the things that he don't have, that I do have. God blessed me with natural gifted talent because I'm a black African man from the USA. And so it's something that he don't got. You know, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna dominate. I'm gonna dog him out. I'm gonna hit harder than I ever hit before. I'm gonna be much faster than I ever was. I'm gonna be sharper. It's just, this happened. Thank you, Brian Castaño, for giving me the extra time to prepare myself. So, what up?
Ryan, same question to you. So much on the line, undisputed title. What's the important thing you learned from that first fight?
Okay.
Charlo.
He wants to know. So before your question, Brian wants to know what Charlo said. So I'm going to find that for him first. Bueno, básicamente él dijo que necesitaba tiempo adicional, básicamente que te va a dominar y que no le importa lo que hayas hecho o no hayas hecho de cara a esta pelea, sino que él va a estar listo para demostrarte que él es el mejor. Y la pregunta es, so, can you please repeat the question so I can ask you?
Most important thing you learned from that first fight?
¿Cuál fue la lección más importante que vos aprendiste de esa pelea? ¿Puede ser algo táctico o puede ser algo personal?
Creo que aprendí a no ir a pelear de vuelta a la casa de él. Que eso condicionó la primera pelea, no ir a la casa de él, de eso aprendí. Esta sigue siendo su casa, yo sigo siendo visitante, pero estoy más tranquilo de pelear, entre comillas, en un lugar más neutro.
I learned that it's really important to not fight in his hometown because that was definitely a factor in the first fight. I think that tilted things a little bit. And I still feel like I'm the road guy here, like I'm the visitor still, but it has more of a quote-unquote neutral feel to it than Houston and than San Antonio did. So, you know, I learned that the lesson is to always be with my guard up and be ready for whatever comes my way as the visitor because you never know what may happen.
So the follow-up then, Brian, to that is, what would it mean to you to be the undisputed champion and getting the opportunity now to be fighting here in Southern California in what should be a venue that will have a whole lot of Latino fans?
Bueno, ¿qué significaría para vos entonces el convertirte en campeón indiscutido frente a un público que va a tener más aficionados, más hinchas latinos de lo que había en San Antonio? ¿Eso sería especial para vos?
Sí, muy especial para mí, para mi familia, para mi equipo. Creo que regalarle una gran pelea a todos los latinos y más con la victoria creo que es algo que venimos trabajando hace muchos años y nada, estamos esperando que llegue la fecha, estoy ansioso con ganas de dejar todo nuevamente y salir victorioso, ¿no? Estas son las peleas que a mí me gustan.
Absolutely, it is going to be special to show what I'm capable of in front of so many Latin fans, and this is the culmination of years of work. So I'm anxious, I'm more than ready, I'm itching to get out there and show everybody that I can be the undisputed champion and to give the Latin fans out there the show that they deserve.
Mel, you would think from the crowd he may have an advantage this time around because there will be so many Latinos.
USA!
USA! USA! USA!
I think we humble, yeah. You in America, we humble each other. We need each other.
USA! 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 You started it, Brian.
We'll get to you. We did. I love you.
Brian, you started that, Brian.
Mel, this fight,
Y'all don't box, though.
this fight, we just spent 5 days, but I think before your birthday.
Yeah.
What would it mean to you to be the undisputed champion, make history, and let's be honest, when you look at your resume, you go down as one of the most accomplished junior middleweights in the sport?
Well, I'm a first, you know what I'm saying, just be grateful for my opportunities, you know, and God placed me in a position for me and my brother to shine. And this is a Lions only game. This is my time, so I'm gonna be focused on it. He a target and I'm gonna pop him. So that's simple as that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna waste too much time trying to just try to make it seem like this. Nah, I know what I possess in the ring. I know who I am and I know what I come from. Thank God my birthday coming up. We finna have a good year, a good time, and we finna enjoy this. I bust my ass. I worked very, very hard since the last July, and I know for a fact that with the dedication that me and Derek James put in, the rest of the team, Juan Kuzma, just everybody. You know what I'm saying? This is very solid. Appreciate Titus. Everybody that we did this, and I know all I gotta do is just put it on the line.
Let me ask you this, straight up.
Yeah.
I was reading some of the clips and comments that you guys have made. You said you're knocking him out this time around. Are you knocking him out this time around?
That's what the fuck I do. That's what I do. That's what I'm known for. I'm known for the power. I'm known for the knockout. I'm known for the speed. You know it. You know it. But ask him.
B, he says he's knocking you out. I guess my question is, are you stopping him come Saturday?
Dice que te va a noquear, que él vino con la misión de noquearte, que eso es lo que va a hacer. ¿Vos lo vas a noquear a él? ¿Tenés ese objetivo?
Primero que nada, quiero agradecer a Estados Unidos también, o sea, Argentina, Estados Unidos, no es un tema de países, quién ni quién. El deporte une, y entonces la unión para mí pacífica, creo que quiero agradecer a Estados Unidos por dar la oportunidad de trabajar acá, de pelear, no es algo de Argentina, Estados Unidos, quiero hablar de eso, que estoy muy agradecido con este país. Y nada, obviamente, él dice que va a volver a ser el Charlo de antes, a mí no me importa, a mí me importa pelear y que haga lo que tenga que hacer, y si viene a noquearme, lo espero tranquilo, a ver si va a aguantar los 12 rounds.
Okay, first of all, let me make something very clear. This is not a US versus Argentina thing. I'm really thankful for the fact that this country hasn't. I'm really thankful for the fact that this country has embraced me and allows me to perform my craft here. And this is not an international battle between me and Charlo. This is two great fighters going up against each other. And I love this country and the opportunities that it's given me. Well, you know,
Fix your mic.
Okay, yeah, as far as the knockout, look, he can say whatever he wants. I could care less whether he wants to knock me out or what. I'm gonna go out there and let's see if he can withstand my punishment for 12 rounds.
We finna represent this USA versus Argentina. Yes, it is. Y'all wanna be loud? You in America, you in my shit. You in my land, baby. This is my land. I thought that shit happened this land.
We'll wrap this up with this, because I know there are members of the media that want to ask questions. Brian, my last question to you. In the build-up to this fight, listen, there were a number of things that were said. One of them was maybe Brian Castaño was faking his bicep injury. Maybe Brian Castaño was using PEDs. Was there anything that was said that upset you the most?
De todo lo que se dijo, de que Castaño estaba mintiendo sobre su lesión, de que Castaño estaba haciendo esto o aquello, ¿qué fue lo que Charlo declaró antes de la pelea que más te molestó de todas las cosas que te dijo?
Me molesta la falta de respeto que tiene hacia el deportista. La lesión puede pasar en un campamento, más en campamento de una pelea tan grande, ¿no? Creo que él siempre para él todos sus oponentes o toman droga para rendir más o necesitan tiempo para ganarle a él porque él se cree que el del Ironman se lo cree de verdad. Creo que la verdad es algo que no sé por qué se pone nervioso, grita, si estamos hablando tranquilamente, que grite arriba del ring el 14 de mayo.
So, what bothered me the most wasn't something specific that he said, but rather the sheer lack of respect that he has for a fellow athlete. Because he was saying that I was taking performance enhancers, that I needed more time, and he said a lot more things that I thought were out of line. And I don't know why he's so nervous, why he's getting all edgy like that. Because he's screaming and yelling, and I would rather him scream and yell inside the ring, because right now, the fact that he's so nervous, it's puzzling to me.
Folks, you don't want to miss Showtime Championship Boxing on Saturday. These cats gonna put some paws on one another. I know there are a number of members of the media who've got questions, so let's give them the opportunity. Please introduce yourself and let us know which fight. Keith.
Keith Heineck from BoxingScene.com. My question is for Jermell. Jermell, you had him hurt multiple times in the first fight, in the second round, and the 10th round. In the 10th round in particular, how close do you feel that you came to finishing him?
I didn't finish him, so you know, that's the only mistake that I made, is not finishing him. I'm usually a closer. And so we're going to go into this fight with that already on the back of our mind. Once he gets like that again, hopefully it's earlier than later, it's over.
Dice que él espera poder noquearte más temprano que tarde.
Marcus Hayes, Fight Up TV. This question is for Jermell. Mel, a lot of people might not realize this isn't a new tone that you're striking about your nationalism. Talk to me about how special, or talk to us about how special it is for you to be defending your belts versus a foreign challenger.
I want to hear what you said at first. Can I say that?
Basically said this is the first time that you've talked about your nationalism. That's why.
This is not the first time he's talking about it.
I'm sure just told me like that, but you know, I'm very prideful of being from where I'm from. Just the heart of Texas, you know, just the Louisiana and the Texas that's in us. And then we still fight out here in California. It's a beautiful thing to me. I'm excited for that. I represent that. And you know, Castaño is only 18 fights, 19 fights. I have got 30 fights. Y'all gonna see on Saturday.
Yeah.
How's it going? I want to know, both of our champions, this is the biggest fight this year so far. What did they think? What did they do better than their opponent?
We do better than your opponent.
I'm faster, I'm stronger.
Bueno, y te pregunta qué es lo que vos haces mejor que Charlo, y que además Charlo dijo que vos tenés 18 peleas en tu trayectoria, él tiene 30 y que eso va a marcar la diferencia.
Al principio que dijiste,
¿Qué dijo Charlo? Por eso, que Charlo dijo que él tiene más experiencia que vos, solamente tenés 18, 19 peleas, que él tiene 30, que él es simplemente más experimentado que vos. Y la pregunta era, ¿qué es lo que vos haces mejor que Charlo? ¿Qué es lo que consideras que es tu arma superior?
Creo que peleas son peleas, yo según el rival rindo de diferente manera y según cómo se va dando la pelea. Creo que me acomodo, me adapto a cualquier oponente y esta vez lo tengo a Charlo enfrente, pero creo que cada uno hace lo suyo.
There isn't one specific weapon that I would say is better than, because I adapt my style to the opponent. So this time, Charlo is going to see what I have in store for him. Not going to reveal it right now, but I'm more than ready to show that whatever I have in store is more than enough to get the win.
James Bell of Boxing Source, and this question is for Jerome Bootson. It's Boots, right here, right in front. Yes. About a couple months back, you said that if you're able to get through this fight against undefeated Castaño Clayton, that there's no denying you for a world title shot. If you do get through this particular bout, and get through it in spectacular fashion, do you feel like you should have that world title shot next?
Like I said before, we're not the best. We're going to do on Saturday night, we get victory, we look good doing it. And then we can talk about it afterwards. So right now we locked in on play. I'll let me lead on it after this win.
This is Skip Brown from Untitled Boxing Nation by way of Hockey TV. The question is for Brian. Brian, in the first fight against Charlo, you felt Charlo's power. Is that the hardest you've ever been hit? And how do you rate Jermell's punching power on a scale from 1 to 10?
En tu trayectoria has enfrentado a varios oponentes fuertes, pero la fuerza de Charlo, ¿acaso ha sido la más fuerte que jamás has sentido en un golpe? ¿Y qué opinas del poder, de la fuerza de Charlo cuando él te golpea?
No, creo que hay diferentes peleadores que pegan, tienen su pegada. Lo único que me ha hecho visitar la lona fue Emmanuel de Jesús, el puertorriqueño, pero cada uno tiene su pegada. En este nivel todos pegan. No hay uno que pegue más, que pegue menos. Esto es así. Creo que es un rival fuerte de primer nivel como el que estamos. Creo que no hay que desmerecer a ninguno y no hay que confiarse.
Look, Charlo is a top-tier fighter, and that's, without a doubt, that's true. But at the same time, at this level, everyone has power. And the fact is that the only opponent that has sent me to the mat has been the Puerto Rican guy, Jesus. The other ones haven't been able to. So I respect him as an opponent, and I know that he's strong, but there is nothing about his power that really truly stands out to me over any other fighter that I have faced before.
To be continued.
Quiero preguntarle a Charlo si no cree que en la primera pelea lo favoreció un fallo localista en San Antonio.
Jermell, this question is for you, and he wants to know whether you think that you had a little home cooking during your first fight, and whether you were favored because you were playing in your fighting in your home state of Texas.
No, Texas, they judged the fight right. I can't go back and forth. That fight is over with. It's dead. Nothing happened over there that I done. That if anything, I won the fight. Y'all got cooking, and so I'm not worried about that. We're gonna see what California judges and referees are.
Que la pelea en Texas es parte del pasado. Punto final. Hablemos de esta porque acá estamos en California y estoy listo para la revancha para esta segunda parte. Thank you, Jermell.
We have one more.
Here. Martín Colli para Boxeo de Primera 3 Sport, para Brian Castaño. Brian, consciente, porque todos lo vimos, del atraco de la primera pelea, ¿influyó algo en tu preparación, en tu entrenamiento, el enojo?
Well, Brian, the question from TWS Sports in Argentina is that we were all witnesses of the way that you got robbed in that first fight. How did that robbery, in a way, help motivate you in the preparation for this rematch?
Esto me motiva realmente. La primera pelea fue realmente yo me sentí ganador y esto me motiva, ¿no?, para una revancha, a tratar de reivindicar de nuevo eso, salir victorioso, pero esta vez no dejarse las manos de los jueces.
It absolutely motivated me because I thought I won. And the biggest lesson I took from that was that I can't let this fight be in the hands of the judges. I need to end it before that, so that there is no shadow of a doubt that I'm the superior fighter.
All right, thank you very much. Well, folks, Saturday, May 14th, Dignity Health Sports Park here in Carson, California. The undisputed title at 154 pounds is up for grabs. The winner will make history. I always like to wrap it up with this. So we'll start with this. Mel, I give you the final word. Brian, for the hundreds of thousands to maybe 1 million people who will tune in to Showtime Championship Boxing on Saturday, for the thousands that are going to pay good money and come out to Carson to watch you fight, what can you guarantee that they're going to get on Saturday?
¿qué le puede garantizar a los cientos de millones de personas que van a estar viendo esta pelea alrededor del mundo, a los miles que van a estar viendo esta pelea en el estadio aquí en Carson? ¿Qué es lo que les puede decir que van a ver en esta pelea y que está garantizado de parte de Brian Castaño?
Van a ver una guerra interesante. Los dos vamos a brindarnos como se viene picanteando en esta previa, ¿no? Obviamente que no se la pierdan porque va a ser un gran espectáculo.
You're going to see a war, electrifying stuff. The way that we've been spicing this up, we're guaranteeing a spectacle, and you're not going to want to miss it.
Mel, give you the final word. What can you guarantee the people? When they turn on Showtime, they pay their good money to come out to Carson. What can you guarantee they're going to get on May 14th?
Well, USA has the best military in the world. We got the best artillery and the best defensive mechanisms. So there's nothing that this Argentina will be able to do when Jermell Charlo comes to drop them bombs on us.
Bombs will be dropped on May 14th. It's Showtime Championship Boxing, everybody. Boots, you got something? You have something?
I know we got a banger for main event, but I'm coming to the show, put on a beautiful show. And y'all know my slogan, I'm in and out of the robbery.
Yes, sir. There you have it. May 14th Showtime Championship Boxing, folks. Don't miss it. Get your tickets at AXS.com and make sure you turn on Showtime on Saturday, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific time. That's going to do it. I think we're going to have just one-on-ones.